Title: Shooting in RAW versus JPEG. Module: Camera Fundamentals. One of the first technical decisions every photographer makes is choosing the file format in which images will be saved. Most cameras offer two primary options, RAW and JPEG. At first glance, this may seem like a simple menu setting, but the choice can have a significant impact on your creative freedom and the quality of your final photographs. For fine art figure photography, where subtle tones, gentle lighting, and careful editing are often essential, understanding the difference between RAW and JPEG is extremely important. A JPEG file is a finished image. As soon as you press the shutter, the camera processes the photograph for you. It adjusts contrast, sharpness, color, and noise reduction based on the settings you've selected. The file is then compressed to reduce its size, making it easier to store, share, and upload. Because JPEG files are smaller, they save space on your memory card and computer. They are also ready to use immediately, requiring little or no editing. For casual photography, travel snapshots, or quick social media posts, JPEG is often perfectly adequate. However, convenience comes at a cost. During the compression process, some image information is permanently discarded. Once those details are removed, they cannot be recovered later. If highlights become too bright or shadows too dark, your ability to restore lost detail is limited. RAW files work very differently. A RAW file contains nearly all the information captured by the camera's image sensor. Instead of creating a finished photograph, the camera records the maximum amount of visual data and leaves creative decisions for the photographer during post-processing. Think of a RAW file as a digital negative. Just as photographers in the film era developed negatives in the darkroom, modern photographers develop RAW files using editing software. The image is not incomplete, is simply waiting for your artistic interpretation. One of the greatest advantages of RAW is its flexibility. If an image is slightly underexposed, you can often recover shadow details without noticeably reducing image quality. If bright highlights appear too strong, there is usually enough information to restore them. White balance can also be adjusted freely after the photograph has been taken, allowing you to fine-tune color without degrading the image. This flexibility is especially valuable in fine art nude photography, where skin tones, subtle gradients, and delicate lighting play an essential role. Small adjustments can make the difference between an ordinary photograph and one that feels refined and expressive. RAW files also preserve greater dynamic range. This means they retain more detail in both bright highlights and deep shadows, allowing smoother tonal transitions. In portraits and figure studies, these gentle transitions contribute to the natural beauty of the human form. The primary disadvantage of RAW is file size. RAW files are significantly larger than JPEGs, requiring more storage space and longer processing times. They also require editing software before they can be shared or printed. For many photographers, however, this extra effort is well worth it. Editing becomes part of the creative process rather than simply correcting mistakes. You have greater control over contrast, color, exposure, texture, and the overall mood of the image. Some cameras even allow photographers to save both RAW and JPEG files simultaneously. This provides the convenience of an immediately usable JPEG while preserving the full-quality RAW file for future editing. As your skills grow, you will likely find yourself relying on RAW more frequently, not because it automatically produces better photographs, but because it gives you greater freedom to realize your artistic vision. It is important to remember that RAW does not guarantee a beautiful image. A poorly composed photograph remains poorly composed, regardless of file format. Great lighting, thoughtful composition, meaningful expression, and careful timing will always matter more than technical settings. The file format simply determines how much creative flexibility you retain after the shutter has been pressed. In fine art photography, the creative process rarely ends when the camera is put away. It continues during editing, where subtle refinements help transform a captured moment into a finished work of art. Choosing RAW means choosing creative freedom. Choosing JPEG means choosing speed and convenience. Neither option is inherently right or wrong. The best choice depends on your goals, your workflow, and the kind of photographer you want to become. For artists who seek maximum control over every detail, RAW is often the preferred canvas upon which their final vision is brought to life.